Instead of playing the guitar, I used to listen to him and his stories.
I used to play the drums, and the neighborhood also regretted my mom's decision.
I feel that one of the greatest weakness that mankind has is the whole idea of comfort.
There are very few people who are able to express their personality through the instrument.
Absolutely. Because it's something that I can also relate to at some point in time. That's why I also wanted to ask you, so that I can also find some way to my own questions.
So, you will make the...
You do that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, you look good.
Hey, tell me more. Okay, hey, hi.
Hi. Great.
Welcome to Artalap Voice Your Voice. It's the 5th episode. And today I have with me Arghadeep, and I'm David. So today we are actually going to talk about each other, I suppose.
I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And your journey through music and acting. And generally through your life as well.
Indeed. I'm also pretty excited to know about you because you have been an inspiration for me. So it would be awesome to have a heartfelt conversation with you today.
Excellent. Exactly my idea, huh? So how did you get into music?
Well, my Jetha has always been a folk singer. And we have this musical environment. When I was born and brought up in Gauripur, Dhubri, and Gauripur apparently is also a very culturally rich place because of its folk music, which is Gwalpariya Lokagit, and it's also a place where there is a lot of Bhatiyali music.
Yeah.
And since it's also a place where people like Pankaj Barua comes from, so it always had a very cultural kind of a backdrop. So I think that was a very natural thing to have music in my life and my genes. So it happened that way, but the whole idea of how it became a food for my soul, I think came much later when I was in KV Khanapara. Yeah. What about you?
Me, I think it would have, as we were referring to it, I think it would have started when I was in school, I suppose. And it's so long back, I'll have to cast back with my memories and everything. So I think it would have started when I was in Graham's. I used to go to school from baby class to about class 6. I was in Graham's.
Graham Kalimpong.
Kalimpong, yeah.
All right.
So out there we used to have these morning sessions, where we'd all have to go to the chapel. And then we'd sing songs and hymns and everything. And I used to go there only for the singing part of it, because hearing this, hearing 2,000-3,000 voices in a church, which is acoustically designed for sound, and then hearing the piano and the choir.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an experience. Especially if the chapel, the church and chapel is built with stones. Yeah.
Was it that one?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
You should visit Kalimpong sometimes. I don't think they allow you to enter the chapel now because it's under disrepair. It's in disrepair.
Oh.
There was an earthquake, if you remember, and then parts of it cracked. But what a beautiful acoustic thing it was. It was like you're overwhelmed with sound.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I think that was what attracted me. And then if you look at it in terms of what sort of a journey it has been, I'm pretty disjointed, honestly. So there was this point of time when even although I used to enjoy music in the chapel and whatnot, and we used to have these choir competitions, where in Kalimpong, the school is such that you'll have different cottages, and kids would stay in cottages. So we'd have about, I think, 25 boys' cottages and 25 girls' cottages. And each cottage would have about 60 kids, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And these cottages would get together during one particular festival. I think it was May Festival or something like that. I forget actually. And we'd make these choirs and, you know, these groups.
Yeah.
And we'd sing and whatnot. And we'll have these competitions.
Yeah.
I think that's where it all actually came up from. But in between, I had a bit of a interest or disinterest in music and interest towards sports. So I used to swim, I used to box, I used to do gymnastics, and you know, typically be the tumbler around the school kind of thing. For which I'm quite fortunate. And then I came to Guwahati, and in Guwahati, when I joined Don Bosco, there's this group called Friends, no?
Tubo Harma, yeah.
And Nobajyoti Sharma. And it so happened Nomani is our classmate.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. Although I was in a different section, same class. And I used to see him like rocking on the drums. Wow. He'd play the harmonica. He'd play the drums and he'd be playing with his elder brothers.
Wow.
Beatles songs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like totally enamored.
Wow.
Then I, you know, pressed my mom like mad to get me a drum kit. And according to her, it's unfortunately she did, you know. She got me a drum kit. But she regretted that decision because I used to play, you know. I used to play the drums, and the neighborhood also regretted my mom's decision. I used to play the drums like mad. Oh my God. The stones that used to fall on the roof was awesome, I swear.
Oh, wow. How you used to deal with that?
No, I never used to hear because I was too busy on the drums. Yeah, but my mom used to hear, you know, the stones on the roof and all that. But I was okay.
That's a sweet story.
Yeah. And how come you shifted to vocals? I mean, what was your thing with the vocals? You never picked up an instrument?
I'm trying to understand when can I pick an instrument, because I remember taking guitar classes. But what happened, my teacher was Topon Phukansar. He was a beautiful storyteller. So most of the time, I used to go for my classes. Instead of playing the guitar, I used to listen to him and his stories. He used to tell his story, how he picked up guitar and how he went to Tura to teach students. And there were times when he came to Guwahati to do something in music, and how he was bluffed, and then he again chose to go to Zero, spend some time there. So that really fascinated me. And he still is there, and he plays amazing fingerstyle guitars. And he's mostly into jazz music. So listening to him was such a healing thing for me that I never thought of playing it. So it's more like listening to him, listening to his stories. And I think sadly the guitar that I picked was also not very good to start playing the guitar. So I always used to have this thing. So I think better than this, let's listen to him play. And so somehow I couldn't pick up an instrument per se. But as I mentioned, that I always had this family. So we used to have family gatherings in our place in Dhubri. So our cousin brothers also used to sing. So I think singing came very natural to
Jalsas.
Jalsas, exactly.
I love this Jalsas.
Absolutely. I miss those things, today, these days. But I think that's how I picked up. But like I mentioned, that I always had this fear of singing in front of people.
You do a damn good job, man.
I don't know, but most of the time I just keep my eyes closed, if you must have noticed. So I let myself transport to a different world of my own. But I still have some issues to perform in front of a lot of people, and that's, I think, my defense mechanism. But
shy guy,
yeah. I'm still not been able to express a lot of things in my life because of my shyness, I guess. But yeah, so would love to know from you as well that how you shifted from being a drummer first and then to being a vocalist.
Oh yeah, I got fascinated with Norman's drums.
Yeah.
Press mum and as you
Yeah.
Then in the neighborhood there was this friend of mine, Suman Dowarah.
Oh,
He's a bassist.
all right.
So in his compound there used to be a derelict kind of a garage thing. We are a real garage band if I really look at it. So there was this derelict garage and we'd go and practice there.
Lovely.
And he, he's a short, stocky chap, and what he lacked in height, he made up with personality. He's a very tall personality.
Wow.
Very big personality. And he used to really rag-round me on the drums. He's elder to me.
Yeah.
He used to rag-round me on the drums, and we did something out of it because of which. And we had a band called Man's Mind.
Man's Mind. Interesting name.
Yeah. And I don't know how he thought of it also. Apparently it means, a kind of funerary watch, over a period of a month. Some, European tradition kind of thing.
Interesting.
I don't know why he thought of that name. But whatever it is, it was pretty unique,
Yeah.
And then we learned how to play the drums. And I, honestly speaking, I never thought I could sing. I mean, I used to just shout about, shouting and singing are two different things, right?
But listening to is such a calm experience.
Yeah, listening to it. Listening is a...
Listening to you.
Oh, wow.
And your songs.
So, what happened? And then I kind of like... I didn't know I could sing. I mean... I knew I could shout, in the sense that I had a guitar. I could play the guitar. Not well. I still don't know how to play it well. But, I mean, whenever we'd have a party and get a bit high, with the whiskey and whatnot, we have this tendency to all of us get together and sing like mad, no? Yeah?
Yeah.
So... it is always used to be a competition where I wanted to come first,
Shouting competition.
Shouting competition. But anyhow, thank goodness for the drums, because that stopped all this shouting business for a while. And then suddenly for some reason, I lost interest on drums. Not so very far ago, around about 2010, 11 or so, something like that. By which time I had actually played till about 2000. Yeah. At that time, I had just got into the tea gardens. So there was no access to, playing drums and...
Okay, so you are a tea person.
Yeah, I was a tea person. So I worked in tea estates. Actually, no. I worked in the tea estate from 1992 to 2000.
Wow.
So 8 years I would have been there. And during that phase, I didn't play any music apart from on the tape recorder. So that went. And then over a period of time, I think much later, around 2014 or so, when I went to Delhi. And that was like when? Just yesterday.
Yeah.
So 2014, I went to Delhi on an assignment to get for a job. And then my brother, who had a guitar with him, which I had purchased in around about 2006 or so, he had a guitar with him, my guitar. And then in 2014, he said, "Hey, I still got your guitar. Why don't you play something?"
Yeah.
And he gave me the guitar and I played Knocking on Heaven's Door. I was surprised at the way I sounded singing.
Wow.
So was he, we couldn't believe our ears that, such a thing had happened. And he said, "Hey, what happened? Do another song, man.
Wow.
I can't believe it's coming out of you."
Wow.
Do another song. So I did another song, and which was
it a Sting song?
no. It was, I think, the other song I did was this John Lennon.
Oh wow,
Which one? Imagine.
beautiful.
And that too came out like, what on earth? I can sing. Like I could sing.
Wow.
And then after that, I carried on doing that. Then I met Sunny Parashar
Yeah.
in Delhi. I had met him first I met him in Guwahati only, in a common friend's place. And I realized he was one hell of a plucking, he could fingerstyle guitarist. He was awesome. So then when I went to Delhi, he also was in Delhi at that time, and then we caught up again. And then I started singing, and he convinced me, like, let's do a recording and let's put it on YouTube. Let's see what happens, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we did one called "Gimme Shelter" by Rolling Stones. We did a cover of that. We did well. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Let's do something with it. And then both of us, we came back to Guwahati. Parashar as well as I.
Yeah.
Came back to Guwahati, and we started
Dr. Dope.
Yeah.
So I would love to ask you about how you gathered Rishabda and Priyankuda and Prakhada, you already mentioned. But before that, I would also like to know from you the fact that this whole idea of choosing, we could really feel that music has always been a very integral part of yourself and who you are. But at that same point of time, you had to choose a career in, say, T. So was that decision easy for you to make that,
No, it's never. It's never. On one hand, you're sacrificing security and all that sort of stuff. The other hand, you're going for something which is entirely personal to you.
Yeah.
Something that makes you who you are, that kind of thing. So one hell of a trade-off, actually. So, and music is something, although everybody universally likes music, it's treated very lightly.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, I suppose, like the way people treat spirituality lightly as well.
Yeah, very true.
They don't believe that they are spiritual beings. They believe that they are commercial beings, social beings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they don't see that aspect of themselves. Most of us are like that.
True, very true. Very true.
And I'm glad for music in a way that it helped me discover that, we are actually, all of us, we are actually spiritual beings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not just flesh and blood,
100%.
And it's a damn fact. Man doesn't live by bread alone,
Yeah.
It's a damn fact. It's I suppose that would have been the way in which I would have approached music. And I think I missed your question there. What was it you wanted to do?
You're going towards the direction that I wanted to understand.
Oh, okay.
But the other idea
I
was
hope
also...
I answered your question.
Yeah. To large extent. But the idea was that it is difficult to make certain calls in our lives, especially...
Right. It was very difficult to trade off.
Yeah.
And I realized, which puts me back on track. Thank you. I realized that, I can't be doing society in this life, and then next life I'll come back and do myself. Because there is no next time. Whatever we want to be, we have to be in here, right now. And it's unfortunate that we are being taught that now you do class 1, then you go to class 2, finish metric, finish this, finish that, this, set course, and the whole universe is lying in wait for you.
Yeah.
And that is one hell of a trade-off. So now how do I refuse the universe and go after society. And if I don't go after society, I can't go after the universe. Strange situation. So it's difficult. It's difficult. But I realize, to me, I am the most important person.
Yeah.
Which is why everything I do will ensure that I live. If I'm driving a scooty, I'll ensure to be careful.
Yeah.
So that I make it to the next minute.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your trade-off?
I don't know. I think I've been, the universe has been really kind to me. That I was supported by my parents a lot. Though I think there were times when, because in Ahomia family, it is always not just the parents who take the call of your life, but there's your Kura, Mama, and a lot of people who, kind of, come into the game and say, he should do this, that. But at some point of time, I think my parents also realized, and I'm also fortunate to have a brother who really supported me to do music or whatever I wish to do. So in that, I must say that I was privileged enough to have that safety net to, kind of pursue whatever I wish to do. And so at least at this point of time, there hasn't been any trade-off per se.
Oh, wonderful. Lucky guy. Shake it. Maybe something, rub off on me.
So I'm really fortunate in that way. So far, at least. Maybe when I was in 10 and class 12, matriculation, higher secondary, there were certain kind of expectation out of me. But I think as I think me choosing mass communication also kind of helped me to kind of build something around the fact that I choose the universe than, the security or the societal thing. Though every now and then there is someone who will come and say there is this job, maybe in your line only. But so far I'm quite blessed.
Excellent, and I hope you remain so blessed. Explore yourself, bro.
Thank you.
Explore yourself. I mean, you've got the talent. You've got tremendous talent. I mean, whether it's musically, whether it's in acting. Oh, I love what you did in Amis.
Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic, I must say.
Thank you.
And I love your music. I really actually got a chance to hear it properly during this coconut tree session in Diplu's place.
Yeah. Chiuda's
place. I like that. It was wonderful. I mean, wow. That's music.
It's a blessing for us to, have a listener like you, and also a group like Dr. Dope, that gives us such amazing melodies and thoughts to contemplate.
Awesome, man.
Yes. Something coming straight from my heart.
Thank you.
Would you like to share a little bit about how this collective, came to life and the kind of songs that you do? You mentioned that there is a lot of things that you like expressing through your music, which is not out and out what we might just perceive out of it, but there's a lot of thoughts behind it. So if you can share something about it.
Oh, hell of a question, huh? Wow. So, how did we start here? As I was saying, Sunny and I, we came back to Guwahati. And we were just, browsing about the countryside, so to speak, with a couple of guitars and whatever songs we knew. In the meanwhile, there's this friend of ours called Sanjeev Bharali. I'm sure you might have met him also, old guy.
Yeah.
So he played with us on a couple of numbers we did in Delhi. Like Give Me Shelter, a couple of covers we did. He used to play the bass, and he organized. He came to find out about a guy called Priyank who had just come back from Mumbai.
All right.
And he's desperately
Sweet.
he made a studio and everything,
Mm.
and he was ready, like, but there was nobody to play with.
Mm.
He never knew anybody.
Mm.
And so it ultimately, he came to meet Sanjeev.
Mm.
And Sanjeev immediately came to us and said, there's this guy who's a drummer, pretty good. He's got a studio. He's got, he's waiting for people to come and jam with him. That's it. Then Sunny and I said, yes, it's worth discovering. Then we'd gone and we met Priyanku, excellent guy, young chap, very matured, and quiet chap. And he has his taste in music, which is quite tasteful. He doesn't listen to general stuff.
All right.
He's quite deep into different kinds of music. And I say, oh, okay. Young fellow with promise.
Nice.
That kind of thing I saw.
And
then
what was the drummer telling you? Meeting a drummer for your band?
No, after which we started playing, and I realized, okay, this guy's young, so he's got those energetic shots, on the drum and all. So you can make out his youth when he's playing the drum, and it's very rare that to get personality out of drums.
Yeah.
There are very few people who are able to express their personality through the instrument.
Absolutely.
And regardless of his level of expertise or skill, everybody needs to grow up, no?
Yeah.
In skill.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, he had an expression, you see. He had,
identity.
Yeah, he had an identity, exactly. And that was awesome. I said, let's start. And then I think the first song we made was perhaps Oh Horio, I think.
Oh, that's a beautiful song.
Yeah, I like that song. And you know what influenced me? I myself am a hell of a fan of Gwalparia music.
Oh, wow.
Batiali, Gwalparia Lukogit. It's, it scares me to sing in Assamese and all, primarily because during my formative years, I was in a boarding school, English-speaking boarding school. And my entire, mouth part shape or something, I don't know, it's just turned into that English-speaking shape, So I'm scared, like, if I sing in Assamese, it comes out like, Kut go isla, and all that will be a problem, Although, while I'm speaking Assamese, it's normal. It's normal. Absolutely. But I'm scared that if I start singing in Assamese, God only knows what's going to come out.
But you can try.
I want to try, but
would love to hear.
Yeah, me too. You've done Assamese songs.
Yeah.
I never really got a chance to listen to that. I must listen to your.
Please.
What genre do you sing as far as Assamese songs are concerned?
So we don't confine ourselves to any kind of genre per se. We are still exploring, and there has been some band member change in our current setup. So we are exploring new genres per se. So when we started, we kind of wanted to call ourselves a fluid rock kind of a setup, because most of our instrumentation were of that of a rock band, and since all of us had that influence primarily of rock music, so that was always there. But we also didn't want to kind of confine ourselves in the brackets of hard rock or classic rock. And since there's a lot of influence, like I mentioned, I'm also from Gauripur, Gwalpara. So Gwalparia Lokogit also had its influence, and there has been a lot of travel in our formative days of bottle rockets. So we had to travel. We traveled through places like Manas National Park. So a lot of Boro music also had its own influence on us. So I think there's a lot of our violinist and guitarist. So he's inspired by the whole Nam culture. Because his Koka was into Borgits and Nams.
Oh wow!
So a lot of traditional influence also came into our music. in subconsciously maybe. So we kind of kept it very fluid. And at that point of time, we were also playing with another band called Fellow Swimmers. So they were a post-rock kind of a group. So there was a lot of ambient sound and ambience that we used to work in our music. So I think it's quite
that's
diverse.
pretty well thought out, huh? You guys, your soundscape is pretty well thought out, huh?
Thank you.
Excellent, yeah.
So yeah, you were talking about Dr. Dope.
Yeah. So then we came here and then we got together. First song we did, as we said, was Oh Horio. And see, we don't have money to make recordings. So what we did was, let's do it live. Let's put a few whatever, practice like mad, and release it live. So that's what we did. Most of our early songs, we played it live. Practiced it a lot and played it live on YouTube. And uploaded onto YouTube. It's those songs now we are actually turning into proper, with what ideas we'd had. So those ideas are being incorporated. And the guy who's arranging most of it is Sunny.
Okay,
Yeah. He's arranging all of it. And then getting Rishabh on board was, I think, at that time, Sanjeev was going through a phase.
Okay.
He had to, leave. So in the meanwhile, we fortunately, we got in touch with Rishabh. And after hearing Rishabh play, he's a real groove hunter.
Absolutely.
One shot and he's in the groove, he's back in. He's in the groove. That was awesome. So as soon as he came in, the entire color, it just changed. We were approaching it, little feelingly. Should we do this? Should we not do this? And basically just feeling about the place. But when Rishabh came, he just took. Boom! That's what you need to do, And we were like, yes, we'll do that.
Wow,
that was great. And then for Sunny also, he got a chance, where he got a chance to start exploring his music because he's now getting the support, right? He's getting the support from everywhere. And because of which also, at least my strumming, guitar strumming, it's become quite good. I'm feeling proud about myself about that.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how it happened, actually.
I really like the way Parakhod also uses a slide,
Yeah. I was like, hey, somebody stop that fellow. He's killing it.
So nice. Wow. So, was Dr. Dope your first recording experience, or when you were part of Man's Mind, you also had, because it's in 80s and then all the way to 2000, so there must be quite a transition. So, even with the kind of people you performed for and performed with, so how was this whole transition for you?
That, how, I wonder. I never had a recording experience before Dr. Dope. It was all live. Everything we were doing live, we were covering. And I think Man's Mind, I think we too were perhaps one of the first bands then to have our own Western song.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a song called Silver Moonlight.
Oh, Silver Moonlight.
Wow. And there was this, our singer at that time in Man's Mind was a guy from Manipur. His name was Jamkulal Haukip.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and he's good. Yeah, he's good.
Wow. Are you in still touch with him?
Yes, ever so occasionally. I mean, he's a big daddy now.
Oh, how sweet.
So it's, and he's in Churachandpur in Manipur somewhere.
Okay.
And it's difficult to meet him.
Yeah.
But he killed it. He was awesome. And so we were able to make few songs there. Then, after that, I also was one of the founding members of Spreading Roots, and I used to play the drums for Spreading. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Spreading Roots. And there too, I mean, Suman was able to give some lyrics and tunes and all. And Suman is very different kind of a thinker. The bassist. There's a couple of songs that Spreading Roots has released are Suman songs.
Okay.
And his music is very different.
Wow.
I mean,
you can say from the name that he gave to your first band, Man's Mind, shows the kind of
and the way he used to play the music, I mean, the way he used to, arrange music and stuff, it was quite different. And in fact, Down in the Trap, there's a song that is sung by Spreading Roots, one of his songs. Beautiful song. And it's different. It's not in the normal scene of things, like how you play boom, bam, boom. It's different. I love the expression that Hridoy has also given to it. That's fantastic.
His presence has some kind of energy that you just connect to instantly. I love Hridoy.
And and after that we got into this Dr. Dope. And I'm very happy that, Sunny, he's a very meticulous guy. He's very meticulous. I mean, he'll ensure that there has to be so-and-so amount of practice. There has to be so-and-so amount of songs being made. So-and-so amount, so-and-so period must be spent for videos. So-and-so, he's very organized, which is what is perhaps lending impetus to our movement, And because of this discipline, I suppose we were able to make music which we were able to display in Zero, in Hornbill, in Along, Alo. Yeah, and where else was it? Yeah, quite in Kokrajhar, in Bongaigaon. So quite a few places. Puri Dihing. Out there, we were able to. These are it's because of that discipline. I
suppose. Something which actually paves way for more mindful and meaningful things to express. I also wanted to know one more thing from you. The whole idea. I feel that one of the greatest weakness that mankind has is the whole idea of comfort, which is also. Which also gives you some sort of pleasure, but it really takes a lot of things away from you as well. So my question is directed towards this whole idea of the fact that when you were working as a tea person, definitely it was not something that your maybe soul wanted to do, but you also had your own comfort that you acquired over the years. Then coming out of that comfort and, forming this band and making this decision that now this is what I want to pursue and take forward. So how's that decision taken?
Wow.
Because it's something that I can also relate to at some point in time. That's why I also wanted to ask you, so that I can also find some way to my own questions that I'm asking myself.
Wow, man. Okay. Wow, that was a tough one, yeah? Okay, so, all right, so how? Obviously, commerce, the way we, tea garden job is not easy.
Yeah.
It looks damn nice, huh? From the outside.
Yeah.
It looks like a chap's got a bungalow. He's in casuals and shorts most of the day. He's walking around like some sort of a sahab and stuff like that. But it's a very tough job. It's a very, very tough job. It involves, mental fatigue as well as physical fatigue. Both of them together in equal proportions. At that time, you'll have no thought of music. There'll be no thought of music. The only music you're going to be able to listen to is the music you face in the factory, at work. So that's all the music you face, How did I transition from there into this? After a while, when it gets to a point where you're doing nothing but tea, you think tea, you sleep tea, you eat tea, you make tea, anything about tea, and you become a paperweight. Your brain is a paperweight. It's just on top of documents. That's all. Nothing. There's nothing else in it. So that kind of got me a little scared. That, my God, am I going to become another rock in the tea garden? One of the bricks to wake up this wall. Oh, it was scary. Then shifting from there, I initially thought that there are these modern jobs that are happening. Why tea garden? Why tea garden? So I went into IT.
Okay.
And that was especially at a time when just Windows wasn't there. We used to have Fox.
Yeah, Firefox.
Fox and Fortran and all that sort of stuff, which is rare. And it wasn't Excel sheets, it was some sort of a spreadsheet. It was called Lotus, I think, at the time.
Okay.
Lotus was there, and we used to use that, and I was quite fascinated, with what on earth is this, And I got introduced to the computers in 2001, in the tea garden.
All right.
Yeah, not 2000. Sorry. 91. Sorry.
Wow.
In 91.
Okay.
At that time when it was still very basic,
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, that's a start. So I started working on the IT thing, and then I moved over to telecom.
Okay.
Yeah, and learned a lot about telecom. Then I moved over to healthcare.
Oh, wow. A lot of transitions.
Yeah, a lot of
Very
transitions.
different tangents.
Yeah, different tangents, yeah. And then, but the best part of it was that we, musically, there was some stuff coming out, which was quite different from, rap came out and hip hop and then, 90s music and whatnot stuff.
Yeah.
It started coming out and it's like, okay, stuff is happening. And in the meanwhile, the world was getting connected together with all these social media apps, new platforms were being made, and it became, you have online studios.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody, online studios. You can actually make a song on your computer at home. Wow. I mean, it might not be all that great, but then still, something.
Yeah.
And these are the things that actually gave me an idea that, perhaps this might be the time. That I don't have to go and seek a stage somewhere. I can sit at home and make my music. And every place is a stage. And then I realized that Ohmia saying is there, no? That Nasoni nasibo janile na janile sutal khon beka.
Beka.
Etu kunu doka nai tia. Because this sutal is available to anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So you can actually dance in your own backyard and you make a video and it's a viral.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Since these things are possible, then I thought, why not? This might be a good time to explore our music, explore ourselves. Because especially our generation, the scene was that you go to college, you finish your education, go to college, either you pick a professional line or you go into government. Or you go into some corporate thing. These are the four avenues we had. Three avenues: professional, government, corporate. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say government, I also mean like, you become a contractor for the government,
yeah.
supplier to the government.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I see that perhaps in Assam and Northeast, the only business that's happening is government, actually.
True.
It looks like that.
Yeah.
Because most of the chaps, they aspire and they study hard and they kill the university exams and they go and become a government servant.
Yeah.
After that, your exploration stops. The self-exploration stops. I mean, you're just stuck. You're stuck and all that.
I wish they could have explored, because they have the actual power to not just explore themselves, but also to give something to the society and come up with so interesting possibilities. But sadly, that's not happening in most
I think
cases.
It's because of all that social fear-mongering that happens, that if you don't succeed, you'll die. Things like that. If you don't do this, you'll not survive. Yeah. But then I think the world is changed by people who have a desire to, who do not really care. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Like you. Yeah? How come? What is the driving force for your acting?
That is something even I'm trying to explore, because it happened just out of an accident. I never thought of being an actor. That was never there in my thoughts or in my dreams, because I still see myself as a storyteller who chooses the medium of music and filmmaking. So my education wise also, after mass communication, I did a fellowship on wildlife and community based filmmaking, and I'm still making documentary films, and that's my core thing to do along with music.
Excellent.
But acting happened when I did a music video for my friend Kadambari Kashyap. So she did a video for Bartalap and Shankuraj called Ki Bedonate. And that too also because the person whom she wanted to shoot couldn't do it. So she had no alternative and she wanted a long-haired guy. So she asked me, could you please do this for me? Well, you just have to be a dead person.
What an excellent break, yeah?
Yeah. You just have to lie there, I'll shoot you. And sometimes I'll ask you to move around. You just do that. Basically your Atma moving here and there. You just have to do that. So I said, okay, this much I can do. She has been a friend for such a long time. So I said, okay. Because after that, I was supposed to join one of my mentors, whom I assisted for his documentary film called India's Healing Forest. So I left. I did that shoot and I left. But somehow that song was liked by a lot of people. And interestingly, Bhaskar and also the casting director and the assistant director of the film watched that film at the same point of time. Serendipity. I believe in serendipity. So it just happened and they felt ki the person, the character Suman was exactly the one who is lying dead in that music video. So it just happened that way. So I never thought of, becoming an actor. But then after Amish, few films came. But somehow, in some of the films that I was doing, I was not being able to connect to the process of it. Because my experience with Amish was quite different of the very fact that there was a whole process of workshops, and letting yourself go through a lot of rigorous training around rasas and emotions and how to express those. Because I was also in a kind of a state where I was again, I was in my comfort of certain emotions that I connected more than the other emotions.
Right.
So sometimes you also get into those kind of tangent where you kind of feel that these are my emotions that I feel more connected to. I want to build my world around it. But then when I was doing Amish, I was thrown into this whole world of exploring different kind of emotions. So it was a difficult thing for me initially. But I was really liking the process as well. And And the family that I got out of Amis was also so supportive that I also thought of doing more films. But there were a lot of filmmakers with whom I was not being able to express myself to the core. I think one of the reasons when I actually thought that yes, acting is something that I would like to explore was the fact when I was doing a music video for Arogya.
Okay.
So Prayas da the person who shot Gulai Sur as well. So in that music video, I think again I felt a very so there's this feeling of catharsis that I felt.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. Because this is wow, that I'm being able to forget Arghadeep and then being into someone else and trying to understand that person's pain and then be in that zone of that person who is not you per se.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're also exploring certain emotions that you might have forgotten. So that really kind of brought the interest to me to kind of explore acting. And recently I did a short film with a friend of mine called Manab Barua. And a singer Nahid is also there. And Kashvi, again, a very fantastic actress. So while we were preparing for that shoot, I again felt very I think I found it very spiritual, the whole idea of, sometimes confronting your own vulnerabilities and sharing that vulnerabilities with someone whom you're working for just the camera.
You know what fascinates me is that you're such a naturally shy guy. How did you manage this in front of the camera, man?
I mean, yeah, I guess. So for that I need to have a process like Amis or maybe the recent process that I had, Then I could express myself without any inhibitions. But some of the work that I have done as actor, I felt that I was not my truest self, to be really honest. Because sometimes I feel I also over-scrutinize my work. But having said that, I also felt that I was not there per se. But in Amis, I could really sense.
That was too good.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Scared the hell out of me.
Okay. So you please tell us about your stint with Gulai Sur, and recently you also did a video with Kula.
Yeah.
In Suzanne's song, and I'm sure there's a lot of other films that you are doing.
Yeah, I did a couple of shorts also.
Yeah. So would you like to share your journey?
Oh my God, that catharsis business is absolutely correct. I think it happens more for an actor than for a viewer, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
Right.
But with Gulai Sur, I had just come back from Hornbill Festival, and on the way back itself, I dropped into the shoot.
Okay,
and they were in Majuli at that time. The shoot was happening then. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I mean, I'd seen my dad act and all, but it was boring, it was like cut, action, and between shots, it would be like between acting, it would be like hour and a half of rest. We would rest, the actor would rest perhaps, but the crew is busy. Yeah. Because those days they used to have only films, no? It wasn't like a digital camera. Yeah. So it had to be very meticulous. So it's very expensive. Yeah. So that used to bore the hell out of me, and I thought, never. It's not going to happen to me.
So your father was also into music. Sorry to interrupt.
No, music. He
also into films?
Yeah, he was an actor. So he did okay, actually. And then what happened? I met them in Majuli. Yeah. And the greeting was when I realized I'm going to have one hell of a great time is when the production guys, the production controller, he lands up in his bare feet and all. Okay. Pick me up, Okay. And total, you can make out he's been working a long time. He probably hasn't had sleep. Or, and he's skipped a few meals also. So, wow. This is intense. This filmmaking is intense business.
Yeah.
I landed off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him walking in, he walks in with bare feet and I said, and he's still joyful. He's got dark circles under his eyes. And he's still happy. So holy, what is this? So I went with him. What an experience. What an experience. And I was very fortunate that as a debut, if you look at it in movies.
Yeah, I've loved the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever I saw, I've really enjoyed the kind of cinematic feel it has.
Yeah.
It's so
I'm
nice.
so proud to be a part of that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
There's a reason. Yeah. Not only is it my debut, but I got to meet a bunch of young people who think differently, who are totally different beings. And what a pleasure meeting all of them. I met Bonnie.
Yeah.
What a deep man.
Yeah.
Regardless of his roles in the movies. I mean, he does that young uppity guy, kind of a role he does.
Yeah.
But in reality, what a deep man he is.
Absolutely.
Very deep,
Absolutely.
I love talking to him.
Yeah, I want to have more conversation with him.
I love speaking
for sure.
with him.
Yeah.
And there are others. There are others in the entire team.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Beautiful people, And then I realized that, hey, these guys are doing something to change the face of this cultural identity.
Amazing.
In one of these days, in the near future, perhaps, something is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Something is going to happen.
Absolutely.
And this is what I'm very proud to feel a part of. I'm really, really proud to be a part of that journey. And fortunately, and fortunately, after which I got to act in a couple of other stuff, and I'm getting good reviews,
Great.
And like the Gulasiu guys, and I say, hey, the camera loves you. The camera, yes, of course. I'm really tripping out on acting and all now.
Wow.
Hopefully, I'll get to act in more films.
Great.
Looking
forward.
It'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, recently we did another one. I was there's this another movie which I did a small role in.
All right.
It has Jotin Bora in it.
Oh, Ogniban.
Ogniban.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That was
Poonamji is also there.
Yeah. So that also was one hell of an experience. I love the way these young chaps work, These guys, the way they work. They're not only energetic, they're imaginative, they're organized. They're organized. They have these project plans and stuff like that. I said, whoa, this is quite deep stuff, Like I was quite impressed. And me coming from a corporate background to see work being conducted like that, especially creative work. You just imagine how impressive it will be for me,
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I'm thoroughly impressed with that crowd.
Great.
I mean, you too. I mean, really, young, creative guys. You guys are actually going to change this entire perception of what our Northeastern and Assamese culture is. It's going to be awesome.
And collectively, I mean, even the Artalab team together, we have to dream and we have to.
I mean, look at these Artalab guys. Huh?
Yeah.
Our Housearrest 403.
Yeah.
We are invited. What fascinates me is these young chaps. They are having quality weekend time.
Yeah.
Quality stuff.
Absolutely.
They invite amongst the best bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a whole gathering of guys like this tiny desk kind of a concept.
Yeah.
You sit down, you play, and every guy in that area is a music buff.
Yeah.
Either they're playing it, they're shooting it, they're listening to it, they're involved, and they're listening to quality music.
True.
And they're having a quality time during the weekends and stuff like that. See how intelligent it is.
Absolutely.
Huh? It's really impressive. I mean, look at us. We are
Voicing our voices.
voiceless. Yeah. They're organized and all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is the way. This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way. I mean, there are a lot of people, as I see even nowadays, if I look at, when you go to the pub and all, a lot of these pubs are creating.
Yeah, I was actually about to go there only.
Yeah.
So we're in sync, it seems.
Sync,
You
yeah.
already understand what I'm about to
We've tuned in a way.
Yeah, nice.
Synchronized.
Yeah.
So, even these pubs and all, they make these wonderful stages, and they have mighty sound equipment and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we have people who go. It's not a. What would you say? It's not a criticism on it. It's just an observation in the sense that I think people need to learn how to enjoy themselves more. Like these young chaps,
Yeah.
Housearrest guys.
Absolutely.
The way they're enjoying themselves is quality enjoyment, And imagine going to a restaurant where the chef has learned, his work for 2.5 years, 3 years in a college. He's worked hard and he's learned how to cook. For him, he's expressing an art, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And the restaurant owner has made a gallery for the chef in which he could display his creations to each and everybody.
Yeah.
And just to make sure that the food goes along well, they have this live music scene, which they want to create and get along with the food. And but what do people talk about when they go there? What do people do? Do they enjoy the food?
Yeah.
No. Do they enjoy the music? No. You know what they enjoy? They enjoy beating the chest.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And you won't believe, it's not just here in Assam.
Yeah.
It's not here. It's in Gurgaon even. In fact, Sunny and I had gone for for an acoustic show to one of the restaurants. There's this guy, couple of chaps were sitting right in front. And like, I'm here with a microphone. This chap is here on the table here. And he's bad-mouthing his boss. He's coming out in a
Microphone.
mic.
Oh. Oh God.
It's so loud. I'm singing and he says, and he's bad-mouthing, boss, nah. Like, huh? It's like, what's this?
Oh God.
See, it's... I don't know. I think it is perhaps a cultural fear that people have, that if they're not constantly involved with the things that trouble them, they will never overcome them. And then everybody believes that there's going to be one fine day in which I will open the door to happiness. There'll one ultimate day. But I believe that if you don't know today what happiness feels like, how the hell will you recognize it when it opens the door?
Yeah.
Will you recognize that this is happiness, this is what I want? If you don't know, if you don't practice today.
Yeah.
So I've seen people who are willing to spend thousands to come to a restaurant, to do exactly what they would have done at home. No new experience. No matter what inputs are being given, the system is closed.
Yeah.
And this has to change. This has to change in everything. But I'm very happy now, in Guwahati at least, there is a scene.
Yeah.
There is a scene as far as music is concerned, as far as acting is concerned, as far as what even other forms of entertainment are concerned. There is a scene, soul development scene that is happening.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to see, actually.
Absolutely. Let's hope.
What's your experience as far as
I could relate to the very fact that in places like pubs, how sometimes it becomes very disengaging. That for whom you are singing or whom you are performing. Is it just for the chairs out there or the tables? So that is really there, and the fact that we are still we still have to get out of the hangover of cover songs.
I well said. Well said.
So that's something that we have to get out of it, and I'm sure the spaces like Artalab and House Arrest will give us more opportunity to not just express our things, but also to develop a kind of audience that will have that, if not empathy, but the ability to recognize or appreciate original music.
Correct. What say when you say original music, what is your approach? I mean, what is your music all about?
Well, so I think it has evolved over the years, I feel. A lot of times, because I'm also very closely connected with nature, and interestingly the band also feels same to a lot of things. So for me to come up with certain ideas, it has always been the environment, not just the environment we talk about, the forest or nature, but also the cityscape also gives me a lot of thoughts and inspiration to write something or compose something. But lately I've also realized that sometimes it has also have become very character driven at times. Maybe something that I think I have again, the whole idea of being into films or into acting has also maybe opened doors of certain thoughts that I may not have, because again we have our own comfort zone. So when I was doing just music, I also was kind of exploring only the things that I was connecting more to, or the things that I feel this is me, or this is us. But with films, what has happened is that I got exposure to a lot of emotions and also a lot of interesting situations that maybe I would not have experienced in my day-to-day life. So sometimes I draw inspiration from those things as well. And for us as a collective, it has always been a very democratic kind of a thing, that when you produce something, we usually discuss it around, that this is a thought that I have, that would you guys like to explore. Sometimes it's also the guitarist who comes with certain riffs and maybe plugins. So it has always been a very collaborative process for us. But yes, thematically, I think the whole idea of being into cinema has also has given us avenues to thought about. Yeah. What about you and Dr. Doe?
My music, my songs. My songs are about, I think, the inherent spirituality of people.
Yeah.
I think mainly. Even whether I'm writing a love song or just an observation, a song which is an observation of a current environment.
Yeah.
Or it's a conversation about a transition of a feeling. If the song is about the transition of a feeling or something, I have seen. It's because perhaps I've gotten very interested in this idea of who are humans actually. That's kind of a question that keeps playing in my mind.
Yeah.
And are we just flesh and blood? Are we creations? Are we integral parts? What on earth are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe it's something worth pursuing. This thought is worth pursuing.
Absolutely.
The reason being, I don't know what it means to other people, to everybody else, but to me, I believe that I have just this one life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever on earth I want to know about,
Mm-hmm.
I have to find out here.
Yeah.
You know, I have to find out here.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to be, I can't come back and say that, oh, today this life I will do society.
Mm-hmm.
I will do and follow society's rules and regulations, and I'll be under control like sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Next life, but you guys don't expect me. Next life, I'll be doing myself. It's no guarantee.
Yeah.
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 So whatever needs to happen, if I'm suddenly feeling like Genghis Khan,
Mm-hmm.
I want to, conquer the world, I better do it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have this barely, all humanity barely has about 70, 80 years max.
Yeah.
Half of that year spent trying to figure out what on earth you're here for,
Yeah.
Like your youth.
Mm.
Your youth is an area where you're like, huh? Everything is like attacking you. Every sort of information is attacking you in its own different way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you come to a point of time when you decide, nope, I have got to do something about this. And then you start doing, which takes another long struggle. And then there are a lot of other people.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
So I have to find out. So whether it's acting, whether it's singing, whether it's trekking, whether it's diving off a high board, whether it's swimming, whether it's doing whatever on earth humans are capable of doing is something I really want to explore.
Mm-hmm. So is that your idea of spirituality?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because I don't believe that, we are divergent from the actual spirit of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The only way I believe the universe can express itself is through this corporeal form.
Yeah.
It's through this only.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's It's an interplay of energies. Nobody knows anything.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You need some sort of intelligence, some sort of observation, or something like that. Some observation or something like that to enable an understanding. Oh, okay. This is this frequency is A. This frequency is B. This C. I mean, we're giving it something, some thing there. I think everything that happens, perhaps in this world, is a very holy thing that's happening. Regardless of whether it's it's a murder or it's some whatever. Everything that's happening is a holy thing. The response is also holy. It's the divestiture between the understanding of we are qualifying the universe, saying that this is good and this is bad. It's a social configuration.
Yeah.
It's a probably doesn't have any relevance in practical reality, universal reality. Our society is not the do all and end all of the universe. Yeah, you don't describe God to me.
Yeah.
Don't describe God to me. God Himself will describe. Yeah, He doesn't need your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, He can talk to me however He wants.
Yeah.
So religious, I believe religion is just spiritual politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's leave that aside.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about religion. It's basically dogmatic.
Yeah.
But when you talk about our internal relationship, our intrinsic relationship between us and the universe, music is one hell of a medium to go through that. Because I realized that over a period of time, I've realized that we musicians, actually, we don't make music. We discover it.
Yeah. True.
Whatever is happening,
Yeah.
we discover the music. So once my infrastructure, my body, my skill set has developed itself to such an extent it can accept the full force of music, it's then only we receive music and we create tunes, etc.
True.
He who believes that it's my song, I have made it, I have invented this song, is absolutely out of sync with the entire scene.
100%.
Yeah, because
100%.
you discover music.
Yeah, absolutely. I do
Music
believe
is
in
a
that.
force.
Yeah.
It's an energy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I believe perhaps I'd be very happy if for the rest of my life, if I find a way to sustain myself and then start,
Yeah.
exploring this part of it. Because it's a worthwhile pursuit.
Absolutely.
It's a worthwhile pursuit.
Absolutely.
What is your take?
I totally can echo to what you were saying. And the very fact, sometimes that fact also kind of not saddens you, but the very fact that when you feel that this is something so spiritual, the whole idea of, how a melody comes to you from the universe.
Yeah.
And the energies that you just mentioned. But the fact sometimes what happens is that being humans also, you have this tendency of, at least a little bit of expectations ki this energy that is coming to me might also can resonate to someone else. Not expecting that that person will have to like it, but to be little to have that little bit of humility to at least just honor the sanctity of the whole process.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And sometimes what happens is within the group also, sometimes like you just mentioned, that if one can also sustain with the whole idea of this whole spiritual process, because this spiritual process, the whole idea of being in this realm, sometimes also you have to do it for livelihood. And then you tend to make certain choices in your life when you tend to overlook the spiritual part of it, and then it just becomes a commerce to you. So that idea also sometimes kind of makes you feel ki what are you doing, or with whom are you doing? Just a thought I just wanted to mention. But yes, I definitely and that is one of the reason why I think we all have still continuing the things that we are doing, music, and especially original music, because the whole idea of letting yourself also go and just float around with this idea of this process itself is so cleansing and calming that nothing else matters, like Metallica says. It's just that process, and it's such a beautiful journey. It's such a beautiful journey. I just hope that more people will have the chance to taste it the way it is, rather than any prejudices or inhibitions or expectations attached to it, or just feel the process of.
The other day, in fact, I had gone to Kamakhya.
Acha.
Okay, and I love going there to Kamakhya. Somehow I find it's got a lot of
energy, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of energy, a lot of power. I'd gone there during this Ambubashi, this Mela, and I entered the main temple, and there was a lot of devotees and absolutely involved and absolutely deeply involved in the religious practice. On the side, I saw the head of a sacrificed goat, you see. That's when it struck me that, my God, that we are practicing religion and there is death even. And I realized at that point, the statement I made that everything we do is holy.
Yeah.
You see? Because if we are to consider that the universe has been built or created by gods of any religion. Every religion believes their God created it. Yeah. So, but whatever it is, if God has created something, how do we qualify as good and evil? And God is almighty. So what fear should we have of something ungodly? What is ungodly if God is everything? You know?
Yeah.
And then I realized in Kamakya that, my God, everything we do is holy. And all it requires us is for us to respect it. Everybody is a representation of His holiness.
Yeah.
Yeah? Every man, Jack, every person.
Yeah.
And I think that is also in a way, lending impetus to my writing also, I suppose. Songwriting also.
Yeah.
It's lending that kind of an impetus that I realize. And my songs are mostly about this misunderstanding that men have or people have about what is good and what is bad. You know? Good and bad are local constructs.
Yeah.
You know, local constructs
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
sense that it's only relevant to me and to you.
Yeah.
You know, it's according to me, this is good, this is bad.
And it changes also with every kilometers at times.
Yeah. And we have our own culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, if something in our culture which is good for somebody
Yeah.
else might be damn bad.
Yeah.
You know? So these social constructs should not be permanent. Because a permanent social construct is a dogma.
Yeah.
And it's a prison.
It is.
Yeah?
It is.
So we must ultimately acknowledge the fact that everything we are is primarily because of the environment,
Yeah.
this universal environment we are in.
Absolutely.
You know? And
Absolutely.
if we don't have the ability to say that, we'll always consider ourselves to being I made the music. It's my music. These are my songs. You know, and not acknowledging that this is an energy that has come to us.
Yeah.
It's like how Shiva
Yeah.
held Ganga, no? So we have to become musically or whatever art or craft we are planning to do. We have to build ourselves up like Shiva so that we can catch that spirit, you know, and hold it in our minds and let it flow. That is my approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I can draw one more thing that I also truly believe in, the whole fact that we are Prakriti.
Yeah.
If Prakriti is the energy or the universe that because that is something that we can sense it, that we can see as well. So the Prakriti, and we are not separate.
Yeah, we are
from
not
it.
separate.
So to believe, to experience that energy and that process, it is also, I feel, is important to understand and acknowledge and surrender to the fact that we are Prakriti as well, like you mentioned. So when you are part of the Prakriti, then how you can call it, again you said it's again a very cultural and human based construct of good and bad. But Prakriti is beyond that.
Beyond.
And we are part of that Prakriti, and we are Prakriti.
Right.
So anyway, we are, going beyond the fact of good and bad.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see in the future here? What is your future looking like? According to you, I mean, where would you like it to go?
I really like to, I've always believed in having conversations, and I'd love the future to be like this, where I can have more conversations with people, because I always feel that conversations can lead to so much of possibilities.
Learning,
Learning, unlearning. Because sometimes we also got into this whole box of, okay, this is right, this is wrong, which is a part of the learning. And once we unlearn it, we actually tend to taste the real beauty of it. So, So I'd love to have more conversations in the future, just like this that we're having it right now. So I'd like to see the future in that way. And maybe, again, maybe more compassion within myself. Maybe I should be more compassionate and empathetic toward myself, because then only I can give back. Similarly, I think if the society can also have more empathy, in the way it lives it. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's unfortunate that we are so ruled by fear, no?
Yeah.
Fear of the future.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason why. I mean, you see, each of us have our own individual philosophy.
Yeah.
It must be good because we are still here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the philosophy was bad, I'm quite certain that, you know, the universe will probably take care of it, you know.
Yeah.
Bad philosophy, boom, you're out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I believe every person, whether he's an artist or he's a worker, you know, or physical laborer, whatever, there has to be a philosophy of approach, you see, because there are times in life, I suppose, we have to make instant decisions on certain things. So instant decisions don't come out of pre-planned thinking, no?
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is we need to create a philosophical base through which, you know, any activity passes through and decisions fall out from that. You know, it should be automatic. And I believe our philosophy should reflect the reality of who we are.
True.
You know, as people.
Yeah.
And as people, I believe that everyone, everything is holy.
Absolutely.
It's holy.
Yeah.
So, good or bad, again, is a social construct.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's nothing to do with good and bad.
Yeah.
Everything is holy. And once I believe we have the understanding to realize that and respect the holiness within everything and everybody, I think it might make for a better expression in music or art or science or commerce or anything. I
The world we live in at large, maybe.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
What a pleasure talking to you.
Same here.
Arghadeep.
Same here.
Yeah, as you said, I do hope we have more of these sessions.
Would love to. Yeah.
That'll be great.
Absolutely. Maybe a jamming session as well while we converse.
Ooh. That's lovely. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, this what
Such
a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wow, wonderful.
Wonderful. Great conversation. Eh?